Welcome back to the Seven Stones YouTube channel. My name is Achintia Nilsson, and in today's video we're going to be getting into the basics of setting up a business in Indonesia, part 2. As I mentioned in the first video, one of the main concerns from new clients is how foreigners can operate medium to larger businesses while complying with Indonesia's regulations. We split this into 2 videos to better detail the relevant information. The first video looked at setting up a PT-PMA or a PT-PMDN, foreign ownership, and something called a negative investment list. If you haven't seen the first video and you feel that you need some information on some of the things I just mentioned, go ahead and check it out by clicking the link below. In this video, we're going to look at getting the right permits, joint venture companies or JVCs, and profit share agreements. So let's get down to business. Once your business entity has been established, you can then obtain the correct type of permits to stay and work in Indonesia, which could be, for example, as an investor or as a full-time working director. To comply with investment value volume, we've seen a number of investors setting up JVZs with a strong corporate body to manage various assets under one umbrella, as well as managing the independent needs of each respective asset. More and more sophisticated investors are also using the model of setting up a PT-PMA to acquire land and then allowing foreigners to buy in as investors directly to the PT-PMA or through a PT-PMA owned by an entity in another country of your choice. Invest Islands is a website that has a good example of a PT-PMA guide. Go ahead and click the link below to check it out and find out more. Profit share agreements. A module that many seem to choose is to set up different forms of JVZ or profit share agreements with local partners by setting up a PT-PMDN, which means that all shareholders have to be locals. This is a common structure for many large investors entering Indonesia. In fact, many of Indonesia's unicorns started their entrepreneurial adventures this way. In these cases, a foreigner will operate as an investor and provide access to capital. Typically, the investor will demand that a percentage of the shares are pledged as a guarantee to provide capital or loan. And in many cases, the foreigner will be hired as a director to control and operate the business together with the local partner. Security for both parties is often administered through arbitration in Indonesia or abroad if there were ever any conflicts between parties. Some will claim this is a nominee structure which is not recognized under Indonesian law. However, it seems that the Indonesian government is more interested in clarifying the subject or object of tax exposure than seeing it as a threat or circumvention of Indonesian corporate law. Joint venture companies. There are many companies in both Bali and Jakarta that offer operating as a local partner for this type of setup. One benefit people see to doing this kind of PT-PMDN is, in most cases, the permits and reports are a little easier to comply with than for a PT-PMA. Establishing a JVZ or operating with a PT-PMA and PT-PMDN as a specialist providing specific services are other options that seems to work well if your proposed business happens to be on the negative investment list. A few businesses that started their investment journey in Indonesia through a PT-PMDN have gone through the process of acquiring pledged shares and managed to upgrade to a full PT-PMA. It is also worth mentioning that many foreigners believe they can rent villas, restaurants, and other businesses in the name of locals to operate and earn money. Often this involves using a local's Pondok Wisata license. But please be aware this is not the right way to do it and conflicts with tax obligations, visa status, and legal responsibilities. At the end of the day, it's very important to seek trustworthy advice and evaluate the best possible structure for your needs before you invest in anything, be it villas, restaurants, hotels, jewelry, fashion, or coffee shops. Once you've done that, you can safely source the right kind of investment strategy and clearly define your investment roadmap. Indonesia is also due to launch what they're calling the Omnibus Law. This is a new law with supported regulations that are set to make it easier to invest and establish companies with all of the respective permits in Indonesia. And that is what we have for part 2 of setting up a business in Indonesia. We hope this video has been helpful in kickstarting your research into legally setting up a business in Indonesia. If you have any questions regarding real estate, tourism, or law and regulations, don't hesitate to let us know in the comments below, or you can directly send us that question through any of the contact details also listed below. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.